Hey folks, Dave at Knack Builders. Do another Knack functionality video for you folks. Today I'm going to do this. How to capture when a record was created and who created it. It's pretty simple, pretty basic functionality, but pretty darn useful. So I'll be back in a moment to take you through this. Thanks. Okay, Dave Parrish here at Knack Builders, talking about today's topic: how to capture who and when a record was created. Now this could be for obviously any record, but let's say you want to know who entered an invoice or who created a new customer. This type of thing will keep a record of it. Just grabbing an app here. This one we're using what's called requisitions. And again, this is going to be short, but it's pretty simple and pretty darn good. What you do is you're going to create a connected, we have our requisitions, and two requisitions, by the way, products are entered, but that doesn't matter. We have accounts. We're going to do a connection, two requisitions, we're going to say connected to accounts. Now you could connect it to a specific user role, but accounts are going to capture any user. So I typically use that, and some of them you may have multiple users using the same interface. So this will just grab everyone. You're going to create that, and I already have one, so it gives me this, but it doesn't matter. And you're going to say, I want each. You want a one-to-many. Each requisition could have several accounts, but no, each requisition will have one account that created it, but an account can be related to many requisitions. Now I already made this, so I'm going to cancel out of that. So let's go to this. Here that is, and I renamed it entered by. That means whoever's entering this requisition is going to capture it. And the date is just a typical date formula, and we're going to set it to the current date. If you wanted to capture time, you can capture time. So automatically, the date when the record's created is going to do that day's date as the value. So to make this work on the user side, here's the place where they're adding a new requisition. Add a new requisition. There's our form. Now you don't have to have them select who did it. The system, if you're using the logged in user functionality, is going to know. So you're going to go to form rules, record rules, and you're going to say update this record. And you're going to say the entered by, which is the account, I want that value to be whoever the logged in user is. So we'll capture that. You don't have to set the time because it'll be created automatically. It's that simple. So every time something's created, here's a bunch of different requisitions. It's going to list who entered them, and you'll know. So, and the date in this case is obviously the date it was created. Now you could do the same thing if you wanted to know who last updated it. And go back to our object here. You'd have to do another one that says last, another connection to accounts. And this time it would say last updated. And you're going to create a last updated date. And in this one, you're going to tell it, because when it is created, this is the date created. It's going to capture that date. But when it's created, it's also going to create this field and set a value to it. And you don't want that value to have a date in it yet, because it has yet to be updated. It has only been created. So for the last updated date, you'd set the value to no. And again, if you want time, you can deal with the time thing also. Now there's a few more issues with last updated. Technically, it's going to, if you're editing something, let's say I'm editing whatever, a record here, edit. you might have to put some controls on it. If they click submit and don't change anything, it will capture last updated. So this one can be a little more tricky, but it's not bad. You may have specific things that you want to capture when it was updated, or something, I don't know, a change in status or something. And you might have a specific interface that's just for that. And when someone changes it or updates that, click submit on that one, it's going to capture it. That's pretty much it. Now, for pro users, by the way, this account is in a pro. Let's go to a pro one. Pro users and above. Let's just find one. You have the ability, let's open this up, to look at records, and you can see a history by this clicking here. And so if you wanted to get into the back end, and if you want to dive into it, this can be a lot of history records. This will show you who did it, when, and if you scroll over, it'll end up showing, it'd be highlighted who or what was changed. Now this is nice for troubleshooting, but for just quickly looking at something, especially on the user side, it doesn't work that well, because you have to go on the back end and dive down into this. Now there's one other approach. Let me go back to that one. That can be useful too. I'm not going to get into all the details of this, but medical supply. Instead of me just wanting to create a, it's almost a static thing. When it was created, if you want to keep a history of this person created on this date, this person updated on this date, and even capture what they did, you could create a separate table, which I'll call requisition history. And you're going to link those two together. And you're going to grab whatever field you want. When it happened, who did it. You can nail down some content of what they did. That takes a lot of work, but you can do that. Basic things. So you could look at that customer or something, or requisition, and see a history. And how you do that is, I'm just going to go to this thing again, but you're going to do it on a created or a updated form or an edit form. Instead of update this record, you're going to say insert a connected record. So to the record, or the requisition is connected to its history. You're going to insert a record in its history, and you're going to grab those pieces of information: the logged in user, the date, and whatever else you want to grab. And then right in the user interface, you can show a history of that. I may get into that in more detail at some point, because there's a little more going on with that, but that works well too. So those are the basic approaches for capturing when something was created and who created it. If you like the video, you know how to like it or share it, and I appreciate doing this for you folks. Thank you. Bye.